Aloha, and welcome to our final episode, the Legacy episode. We've been with Speaker Say for 5 episodes now, and this last segment is going to be a bit different. I just have 3 questions, and there's a certain framework that I'd like to kind of set the tone with. On September 18th, 2007, a Carnegie Mellon professor named Randy Pausch gave his last lecture. It's pretty common for professors to give their last lecture and talk about the field of study that they taught in or life lessons that they've had. But Randy's story was a bit different. He had just been diagnosed with terminal cancer. I don't mean to scare the audience. Speaker Say is perfectly healthy, but I did want to set the framework in the same manner that Professor Randy Pausch gave his last lecture. There was also a book written about it, and it was a segment that he filmed for his children because they were so young. A lot of the concepts that he wanted to talk about, they wouldn't understand at that age. So essentially, he took that last lecture and turned it into something of a legacy episode, which is what I'd like to do here with Speaker Say. There are 3 questions I'd like to ask you, Speaker Say, and for the next 30 minutes, this time and space is yours.
Thank you.
For you to relay to the audience things that we probably wouldn't talk about in other episodes.
Okay.
So the first question is, what would you like to say to your family, to Cora, Jeffrey, and Jared?
I think the first response to that question would be a very humble and passionate one, saying thank you. Thank you to the degree of being patient, being very understanding, and also bearing a lot of the stress that the father goes through. Mm-hmm. It was never one's intention to create distress for the wife and the 2 sons. 37 years in public office, I feel kind of apologetic to the 2 boys because they'll have to be a role model because of their father. Cora, as a school teacher, a public school teacher, will have to carry the burdens of what her husband does and do in the state legislature. That may impact her friends and cohorts, which are the teachers of the state of Hawaii. Thank you very much for their patience and understanding. Not being at home till maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and getting up at 6 to go to work. And like I shared with the audience in the past, that Calvin Say had just like 2 jobs, right? State legislature and Kotake Shokai, the family business. And that's where I step back and reflect to say, boys and honey, I apologize for not spending enough quality time with them. And we talk about it a lot because is it quality time or is it quantity time where the 2 boys wanted me and needed me? Yes, I did attend a lot of their sporting events, the games, but I didn't get a chance to go to their practices. Mm-hmm. Yes, I said, let's go. They wanted to go to the beach to go diving, and I said, yes, we're going to go Saturday or Sunday. And what happens? I can't make it because of an emergency. That's where my statement to the 2 plus my wife is that I hope you can understand when I'm gone what the husband and father's contribution.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm sure they really appreciate this. My next question, or would you like to say anything else? Go ahead.
I've come to realize that history is fleeting. It's only a point in time that you're in office, but it is never recorded for the future generations to understand and appreciate. Dina, there has been so many people how would you say it, who have embraced you to get to where you are today. It's not Calvin Say, but all these individuals, from my parents, grandparents, in-laws, auntie and uncles, friends and neighbors in Pololo, St. Louis Heights, Malalani Heights, that have since passed away. people in the legislature, my fellow colleagues who have passed away, they all had an influence in the behavior, in the career of Calvin Say. So it's not Calvin Say per se, but everyone that has been a part of his life. That's the difference.
Well, they have something to, well, I know the younger generation looks up to you, so all those people that had a contribution, they certainly did a great job.
You know, when I reflect back, I sharing with you, busboy gets elected in 1976. I had my degree in teaching, etc. I used to drive tours, used to sell newspaper. All of this had individuals along the way who mentored me, who supported me to be where I'm today. And I would like to say thank you to all these individuals who have since come and gone. Speakers of the past that I've worked under, Speaker Danny Quijano, Speaker James Wakasuki, Speaker Henry Peters, Speaker Richard Kawakami, Speaker Joe Sugi, all of them had a part in my career to where I'm at. Members who have since passed away, where I've been a strong advocate in supporting the fight against cancer. A very good friend from the Big Island. His nickname was Anaconda. I can't recall. He had passed away. Bob Nakasone, representative from Maui. Kevin Ibata from the Sergeant at Arms, who was just Chief Sergeant at Arms. Richard Sugita. A lot of individuals that I've known here in the legislature have also passed on. But getting back to the reality is that who Calvin Say is, I would say this to you. It is a composition of all the different friends that I've met and worked with, and family and others who are all part of my spirituality. They all shared a small portion of their life and their values. Uncle Tony Kunimura from Kauai, the mayor who was the mayor of Kauai, very flamboyant. Speaker Henry Peters, who became a trustee. I could go on and on and on. That these were great individuals. Another one that really took me under his wings when I first got elected was Mr. Charlie Ushijima, who did a lot for the University of Hawaii baseball team in building the stadium of the Les Murakami Stadium. Charlie Ushijima, and they have an award for that particular individual named after Charlie. Others who have helped me along the way, the different judges, the different department heads, even the governors. Governor Ariyoshi, quiet but effective. Governor Waihe, the man of the Hawaiian Renaissance. Governor Cayetano, fiscally prudent, fiscally strong, and very honest. Governor Lingle, what more can I say, and Governor Abercrombie. And Governor Abercrombie, my professor in American Studies. You know, these are just a small portion of a history of patchwork that I can share with you this afternoon. But there are many, many others who have contributed from the spiritual side too, which is a very good friend who had passed away, which is Tanoi Sensei at the Chozenji Temple in Manoa. Not Manoa, but Kalihi Valley. It's a Buddhist temple. So as I step back, boy, what a life. Going on the Zodiacs on the north shore of Kauai, the Napali coast. Going to Miloli'i, the last fishing village. Going to Mo'okini Heiau. Visiting Hulahe Palace. It goes on and on. That these individuals who were caretakers was also a part.
What would you like to tell the people of Hawaii? What advice can you bestow on them?
The advice that I'd like to share with the general public at large today is that all of the elected officials or candidates who run for public office are well intended. They run for office to do the greater good of the community as a whole. I would also like to share with them a humanistic side, a side where, you know, it's part of our job to get criticized, It's part of our job, you know, to be detracted from issues. But also look on the positive side of each and every one of them as far as their contributions. They are very sincere in what they're trying to do for the greater good. And they will have that opportunity. Every legislator that I've met will have that opportunity, and they have all contributed in bringing a perspective of life to this capital that we love so dearly. And that's where I share to the general public, we're all human beings too. We all have emotions, we all have, egos, but at the end of the day, please look at us as just human beings, like your son, your daughter, or your uncle, etc. And that's where I think you begin to get a better appreciation of what we are here to do, the people's work. Sometimes, like we talk about it, Dina, the media is so critical. There's a reason why we do what we have to do for the greater good of the people of the state of Hawaii and for the institution that we represent. And for all of us out there, I am so proud that you have given me the opportunity, because we're in the world, and it's only in America and only in Hawaii that we have democracy to its fullest. I never expected a Chinese American busboy, dishwasher, educator be in public office. But it was a journey that I think the higher being wanted me to do. Christ, or Lord, or Buddha. And if people recall when I first got elected, it was a fascinating period in time, because that was just the beginning of the Hawaiian Renaissance, like I shared with you, being part of the return of Kaho'olawe, being part of opening up Japan to the tourism market. Boy, did I have an opportunity that I wanted to say thank you to all who have been a part of my life and career.
Okay. And for our last question,
yes,
what would you like to tell the future generation, those stewards that will take on global leadership positions?
My thoughts would be very simple. Be yourself, be honest, be truthful, be compassionate, be humble. Be forgiving for those who may have trespassed against you. Be loving and be understanding. And that will be one of the most successful person that you'll be by living with those tenets. And there are others, You give because you want to give, not that you want something in return. You help because you want to help. And that's where I share with the next generation, you will have that opportunity. And the values that you have today will be changing through time. And I see a great opportunity for all, the millennial generation, the X generation, and the Y generation, because I'm a baby boomer. You really have to be focused on a more personal, that's just me again, rather than a social media person, eye-to-eye contact versus, inviting a young lady to a date just by emailing or twittering, etc. Can we not lose sight of that side of life, that side of the human being? Being prepared to take your shirt off for another person. That's what we should be thinking about doing. And more importantly for the next generation, which will be my two sons too, is that there is that hope and light at the end of the tunnel, that your generation will be a generation that will take us through the difficulties that this world and this country is facing today. I'm excited because we have laid the groundwork as baby boomers. Sometimes, people may perceive us as the generation that took everything, material wealth, etc. But I truly feel, no. We did it for a reason, which was to support our children and grandchildren. And they'll begin to see that. So there is that opportunity, there is that hope, and there is a great, for me, feeling that America and Hawaii will succeed throughout the world no matter what happens.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Speaker?
Well, in closing, I came from humble beginnings, and I'll probably go back to humble beginnings, and that's my legacy. From dust to dust, right? And that's all. History, as far as Calvin Say's recordation, maybe just one page, because I'll share this thought with the audience about how I asked my two sons, should Daddy buy, 4 burial plots next to both Grandpa and Grandma Say? And their answer to me was no. And the reason why, and I can see their reason, is that why would you want us to buy a plot, Mom, Dad, where we're not going to go and visit you? Is it much wiser that we cremate you and spread your ashes in the ocean, or going to the Valley of Honolulu? It's, I'm happy that we could have discussed it, because at the end of the day, and that's where, when I step back and think about one of the greatest U.S. senators in the history of the United States, I hope our U.S. historians will write about him, and that is the late Senator Daniel K. Inouye. Another individual that was a tremendous asset in the growth of the state and the recognition of territorial to statehood, Governor John A. Burns. I don't know how to pass that history on to this generation. The blood, sweat, and tears of what they fought for is what they are receiving today. And are we taking all of this for granted? I don't know. And I share with the next generation, please do not take it for granted. Because in the end, if you don't understand your historical well-being or your historical perspective of where you came from, you'll never know what is your self-concept of who you really are. So that's where I leave all of you with the thought that, yes, thank you very much for the privilege and the opportunity and the love that you have shared me during all these years.
Thank you, Speaker Say. You've taken us on quite a journey these past 6 segments, and I'm sure, I know I've learned a lot from you, and I'm sure the audience has also learned from your wisdom and
Thank you.
your years here at the Legislature. And thank you for opening up and answering some very personal questions. We all appreciate that, and seldom does the public get to see that. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Aloha.
All right. Aloha. And thank you. This is our final episode. We appreciate your time and interest in our show. Mahalo, and take care.